You've spoken a lot and about empathy, and it's impossible for me not to mention. We've actually had almost 2 weeks of shows, I believe now, where we've not once mentioned the President of the United States, because I haven't wanted him to be a part of the conversation. I've wanted the conversation to go deeper than that. But I'll bring him up now because we have a leader of the country who I think everyone would agree has a chronic inability to demonstrate empathy. And I feel that has been a situation like what happened after the killing of George Floyd is, as crazy as it sounds, it's an opportunity for change. It's an opportunity for the President of the United States to bring us all together and to say beautiful things that might actually bring about lasting change. And I feel that has been squandered by our president.
Yeah, so I love you for not centering him in your conversations, because it's not about him. This election is coming up is not a referendum on one guy in one office. It's really a referendum on who we are and who we're going to be to each other. And we've got to raise the frequency in our nation in terms of the love and empathy. But you mentioned him, so let me just say this. I just fundamentally believe, and I've watched leaders on both sides of the aisle demonstrate this. You can't lead the people if you don't love the people. And he just does not love all Americans. You don't have to agree with all Americans, but his willingness to so cavalierly deny so many Americans human dignity, for him to trample upon the very humanity of other Americans, to cheapen this nation by working so hard to divide us and to make us hate each other. All of those things mean he is illegitimate in the kind of moral leadership that we need. He may have the trappings of power, he may have the title of the office, but the title doesn't make the man has to make the title. And he has been a failure in a moral office that Republicans from Lincoln to Democrats like Obama, who have led with love for their country, with malice towards none, and with charity towards all. He's had so much malice towards so many and so little charity towards others. So I just want this to be a moral moment in America. And I'm so proud of his former cabinet members and national Republicans who are coming forward and saying just that this man is uniquely unqualified for this moment in history. And he has cheapened, to me, the greatest ideal in all of humanity, which America has striven in every generation to make manifest in this world, is that we are a nation of love where we love one another. He has so failed to be in the fight to make us a more loving nation, or as King would say, a more beloved community. And I have so much hurt for what he's done to people. And I've watched it. I've watched people, when he calls some countries shithole countries, I've seen people, immigrants, come to me begging me to do something about it. I've watched him degrade. I talked to a college friend of mine whose kid was at Lafayette Park when he stormed in, had people storm in with rubber bullets and tear gas, and the anguish that somebody would think in this sacred capital, where people from the March on Washington to Second Amendment rights people have come for generations to peacefully petition their government, and he just tramples that for what? A national security issue because he had to urgently get someone? Nope, to hold up a book that he should read that talks about humility and the meek. So I can't give him more of my energy. I want to give it to us. I want to give it to love. I want to give it to good people who right now don't understand the urgency for them to act. That's where I want to give it. And so I don't want to, he is not the center of my concern.
Right.
And I appreciate you having a show that reflects that.
Well, I have not wanted to do Trump jokes or make it all about Donald Trump, because ultimately I find him very uninteresting, and his actions sadden me. But I'm angry. I reserve my anger for people that enable him. That's what makes me angry. And I get very angry at people who do know better, who are in a party that may be in the short term benefiting from the fact that he holds that office. But in the long term, I don't know how they're going to be able to talk to their kids or their grandchildren. And so I've been very moved by especially the military leadership that's come forward. Mattis, Kelly, most recently Colin Powell. That is something that the Republican Party does show respect for, is our military leadership. And when you have these prominent members of the military speaking out, that my heart swells with pride. I'm very happy that people are coming forward. I just wish there were more. I wish there were more people who would step forward and say, you know what? Yes, we got some good court appointments. Yes, we got some stuff done because we had someone in the Oval Office who would do our bidding, but this is too much. You know, I wish we'd hear from more politicians like that.
Well, we've heard throughout history, the bystander. King talked about we have to repent in our day and age, not simply for the vitriolic words and violent actions of the bad people, but the silence and inaction of the good people. So I think that you're right, and I think that this again is that moment in American history. And I actually feel sorry for the Republican Party, because as a lot of his primary opponents in 2016, 15, and 16 said, they predicted, Lindsey Graham, all of them predicted that he would destroy the Republican Party. And a lot of them have gone silent now and are refusing to tell the truth of the perversion, the meanness, that he's cavalier in the meanness that isn't at the heart of a lot of Republicans. You name some of them, like Colin Powell. And so this is ultimately a test, and a test isn't over. This is a president who could disrespect the peaceful transition of power in 150 days if he loses. He's already trying to delegitimize the election. This is a president that is capable, has shown us that he's capable of anything. And so the stress test on this nation over the next 150, 160 days are going to be great. And this is a defining moment for all of us. And in a defining moment, you're not defined by what happens to you. This guy's capable of anything. You are always defined by how you choose to respond. And I agree with you. I'm happy for those who have decided to respond by not silence, but by speaking up, by lifting their voices to be heard by history.